we are going to go ahead and listen to Mr. Hedda share his experience, strength, and hope with us for 20 minutes. Hedda?
You got a timer?
Yep, the floor is yours.
Hi, my name is Gerardo Nominatic.
Hey.
Grateful to be clean today. Thank you for asking me to speak at this meeting. I hate fucking speaking for longer than 3 to 5 minutes. You know, it's hard or annoying, I want to say, but like I'm grateful to be here, you know. Like, so for me, if I sit here, right, and think about active addiction and think about when my disease kicked off, I would have to say that it started off like at a very young age, right? So I remember like being 6 years old, and that was the first time that I got like sexually molested, right? And after that, you know, that opened that door for seeking validation, you know, and that love and affection, you know, that I was lacking, or I felt I was lacking, you know. And in a sense that put me in a lot of more situations that caused for me to continue to get hurt, right? Because like I was always wanting that attention, right? And even though I was a kid, like I blame myself for a lot of it, but at the end of the day, these were fucking predators, right? Like I was not at fault. I was not the one to blame, you know. And like my first abuser was like my older brother, you know. And I talk about it freely. You know, it was my older brother, and I remember like he tried getting like the neighbors to do the same shit to me, right? Like it was just a sick cycle, right? And it wasn't until I got a little older that I realized like this is not okay. Like this is not what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing, you know. My mom left when I was like 8, you know. She left, she took off to Mexico with all my fucking brothers and left me with my grandmother who raised me, right? And my grandmother did the best she could, you know. And like as a result, you know, like we were really, really involved in the church, right? Like she, you know, we were at church Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like at these events. And that's where I'll say it exactly how it was, you know, where a priest got a hold of me, right? Like, and I started getting molested by a priest at the age of 12 or 13, you know. And like in my mind, it was like, how is this person that's supposed to be holy and a man of God, like taking advantage of a fucking 12-year-old fucking kid, 12, 13, you know? And once again, like I thought that was normal. I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing, you know. And as I got older, you know, I was like, wait, like weren't there signs? Like why didn't my grandmother notice, you know? But I can't put blame on anybody else, you know. And to be honest with you, it wasn't until I started doing drugs that I was able to stand up for myself and defend myself, right? Like I remember smoking weed, and after I started smoking weed, like I developed the fucking courage to say no, right? I developed the courage to stop the fucking abuse, right? And that was a gateway, you know. Like I started smoking weed, you know. My grandmother was dying in the hospital. My mom was not present. I was bouncing from place to place, right? Like people from the church would take me in. And yes, I had aunts, I had uncles, I had cousins, and not one of them stepped up and said, Hera, come to our house, come stay with us. I was living with random strangers like while my grandmother was in the hospital, you know. So fast forward, my grandmother dies from cancer. My mom comes back as my grandmother's dying, you know. And when she died, that's when the addiction took over, right? Like that's when I spiraled out of fucking control. You know, I remember the first time I used methamphetamines, right? And like I remember it like yesterday. We were kicking it with a bunch of people, you know, and everybody else there said no, but my stupid ass said yes, right? I said yes. I didn't even ask what the fuck it was. I was just like, fuck it, let me try it, right? And I want to say it was one of the biggest mistakes I could have made, right? And but it also, that active addiction brought me to where I'm at today, you know. And I'm in a very good place in life and a very good place in recovery, right? Days vary. Some days are great, some days are fucking awful, but all I have is my recovery to hold on to. My clean date is 11/5/2014, right? And that wasn't my first clean date. So I jump from place to place because like I said, I hate speaking, but this is how it goes. So good luck. So my disease kicks off, right? And I'm like ripping and running. I'm robbing and stealing. I'm breaking into houses. I'm going to any fucking length to continue getting fucking loaded. You know, I'm talking about degrading myself. I'm talking about snatching purses, snatching chains. Like I remember when I first started, I had morals, right? Like I was not gonna rob or steal from my own race, right? Or from ladies. Like I was not gonna do it. Before you knew it, I was robbing anybody and everybody I could get my hands on, right? And my favorite thing to do was get loaded and steal cars. That was it, get loaded and steal cars. By when I was 19, I had 5 Grand Theft Auto cases, which got reduced or whatever, But every time I went to jail, I played that card to the judge, and I played it very well, but I'm a drug addict and I need help. And that's when the rehab started taking place, right? Because I went to rehab to avoid jail. Like I really wasn't trying to get clean, In between all of this, I'm fighting a case against the Archdiocese of Los Angeles, right? They were pretending to be on my side. We're going to court. I'm smoked the fuck out. I'm testifying against this priest. The Archdiocese is pretending to be on my side. And in reality, they were on his side. They were just, they were his attorneys and stuff. But they sat next to me in court so that I wouldn't pursue a civil suit, which I had no clue about, right? Because I'm smoked out. I really don't care. And I remember sitting in front of this fucking judge and telling them like what had happened, and like they were trying to grill me. And even though I was loaded on the preliminary trial, the story doesn't change. It doesn't change, right? Like a story based on facts will not change no matter how fucking loaded you are. And my case was the strongest case, right? Because I was able to pinpoint everything out, and this motherfucker only got 5 years, did 3. He's out, deported in Colombia somewhere, probably being a priest, And it's horrible to see that they allowed a man like this, into the church, knowing damn well he had a past. I did an interview with Dan Rather where I found out way more information about this man, right? So I'm in active addiction, case closed, whatever. They're trying to help me, but eventually they see that I'm not getting it together, so they give up. Right? And I get contacted years later by this attorney for a civil suit, right? And I was so smoked out, like I was like, no, like I don't care. And they were like, well, just do it. Like you don't have nothing to lose. So I was like, all right, fuck it. Right? I met Ruben, my partner, in 2009. And at the time I was doing really, really bad. And I'm a strong believer that God puts people in our life to like kind of bring us up or to show us some type of love and affection, And it was toxic from the beginning. I mean, it's still toxic till this day, right? But it works. I remember him saying, I live in Casa Grande or whatever. We linked up. And then he's like, you should come see me. Actually, I'm lying. I called him and told him, like, I feel like I'm dying. Like, I feel like I don't have too much time left. Like, I want to see you. Like how I twisted it? Like, he said I should come see him. No, I told him I wanted to see him. So he's like, I live in Casa Grande. And I'm like, well, where the fuck is Casa Grande? Like, I'm from downtown LA. Like, I have never heard of this little shithole town. No offense if you're from here, right? So I catch a fucking Greyhound out here. And before the NA meetings used to be here Monday through Sunday in this room. And I remember coming and I couldn't get one day clean. Like I could not do it, right? Like it was just not working because I was suicidal, homicidal. Like, so every other day I was having these suicide attempts, which really weren't suicide attempts. Like I just wanted that attention, right? I wanted that savior. And I hate to admit it, but that's what it was. I go back to California. We try to work things out or whatever while I'm out there. And I called Homeboy Industries, Father Greg Boyle, and I owe my life, of course, to God, but to Homeboy Industries, right? Because that's where I got my first experience at actual recovery, right? Father Greg said, I will give you a job, but you need to stay clean, right? And you need to test clean. And being the good addict that I am, I'm like, cool, like I can drink because they ain't testing me for motherfucking alcohol. Right? And so I'm drinking and it got to the point like it got really bad and Ruben was like, dude, like I cannot have you around my daughter when you're gonna be acting like this, loaded. And I was like, well, fuck it, then I'm gonna go to meetings, right? Because I want this relationship to work. And once again, I'm seeking recovery for the wrong fucking reasons, right? I'm going to meetings just to make the relationship work. Well, somewhere along the line, something clicked, which is why we say keep coming back. Keep coming back. Even if it's not working, just keep coming back, right? Somewhere along the lines it clicked and I started doing recovery for me. this program started working in my life. I started seeing things happen. I got a sponsor. I started working steps. I was plugged in. I used to walk to fucking meetings all the time down Crenshaw Boulevard. And I always laugh at this because I'd be walking and the prostitutes would be like, hey, baby, you looking for a good time? I'm like, you're climbing up the wrong tree, girl. But like I met a lot of wonderful people in Narcotics Anonymous out there, and with that sponsor, I was able to make it to 4 years and 8 months clean, right? And I won the civil suit, which, financially set me really well for a very long time. That money's gone, I'm fucked. I'm in a lot of debt, because I was young. So if you guys are gonna ask me to borrow money, you're fucked. I'm gonna ask you, but so I end up moving back to Arizona. I keep the same sponsor. We moved back because my man's mom had stage 3 breast cancer. When I came out here, it was like a completely different world, because I had gotten, and I say it like Bay Area, Bay Cities, set the bar high for recovery. They really did, and I am so grateful, but like I always tell people, like, if you really want it, you're gonna stay clean wherever the fuck you're at, and you're gonna fucking make it work, point blank, So what happened when I got out here is, being the good addict that I am, like, I want to help everybody, right? So I started working in behavioral health. I started working at CBI, giving it back, whatever, the detox. I see everybody coming in and out, and I made my job my recovery. And that was one of the biggest fucking mistakes I could have done, right? Because I was giving it away and I wasn't taking anything in. I was coming to meetings and I wasn't sharing fucking honestly. I was hurting and dying inside. Like, I legit was hurting and dying inside. And I was looking for that one excuse to get loaded, right? I had reservations like a motherfucker, So when I got my heart broken or whatever, I was like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Fuck it, And I blame my partner for getting loaded, but it wasn't my partner's fault. It was my fault. Like, I knew that I could call people in Narcotics Anonymous. I knew that I could take my ass to a meeting and share and let you guys know, hey, I feel like getting fucked up. Can you guys help me? Because that is what you guys taught me, right? And nope, I decided to pick up one more time. And I say a lot. I hate listening to it later, but I decided to pick up one more time, and I drank weed, and I smoked weed, and I drank alcohol for 4 days fucking straight, right? Like 4 days. It wasn't pretty, it wasn't glamorous, like I was throwing up. I remember that my tolerance level was really, really low because I hadn't used in such a long time, right? But I'm over here very fucking cocky, like, you don't know who I am, pass me that joint, blah, blah, blah. The moment I hit that joint, I'm fucking throwing up, like, ugly, But I threw up classy, I threw up in my shirt, I didn't mess up these people's garage. But as I was getting loaded, I remember in the back of my head hearing, whatever you do, don't do dope. Whatever you do, don't do dope. Whatever you do, don't get in your car and drive. And see, what happened was Narcotics Anonymous had shown me a different way to live, right? And it has shown me how beautiful life can be while I'm in recovery. And I realized, like, this is not what I want. This is not for me. Like, I do not want to use. It's not. Like, God has blessed me so much that I felt like I had slapped God in the face when I got loaded that one last time, right? So I came back into Narcotics Anonymous with my tongue between my legs, with my head down, feeling like shit, and I picked up that newcomer key tag, right? And I remember getting that newcomer key tag and feeling fucking ugly inside, feeling so much shame, so much guilt, And I remember, I started stacking up those days again. People say clean time don't matter, get some, and then you'll know how much it matters, right? Like, because it means a lot, for an addict like me to not pick up. So I remember getting the 90 days, and at the 90 days, every time people would clap when I would pick up a key tag, I would say, nah, don't clap like this. You remember, I'd say, nah, don't clap, like this shit is not cool. Like I wasn't supposed to relapse. Like, I got clean at 21. Like, I was supposed to stay clean for the rest of my life, right? And it wasn't until I went to the NA convention that I want to say I finally surrendered. I got up during the countdown at 90 days. And once again, like I felt so humiliated for some reason, and I cried throughout that whole speaker meeting. Like when I tell you I fucking cried, I cried, right? And after I cried for that long, I remember I was able to take a deep breath and finally let it go. You know, and I was like, fuck it, I'm here, I'm clean, you know, and that was a great experience. And we'll be at that convention this weekend, which I'm kind of nervous about, but excited because I haven't been there in fucking 7 years, you know. My life since I decided to completely surrender has changed drastically. Today, I do recovery for me. Right, so what anybody else is doing is really none of my fucking business. Like I have a partner who drinks, you know, and people are like, oh my God, how are you in a relationship with someone that drinks? And it's simple. Like I want to be clean. If I wanted to get loaded, I will get loaded whether he drinks or not. You know what I mean? If I want to use, no matter what happens, I'm gonna use, you know. And just like I say, like I chase my recovery like I used to chase my high. You know, I go to at least three meetings a week. You know, my sponsor's like, you should be doing more. And I'm like, no, that's enough. You know, I work steps and I take a look at myself. And sometimes that is hard. You know, like I don't want to dig deep. If you guys are scared to work steps, give it a chance. Like, what else do you have to lose? Like, if you're an addict like me, you had already lost it all. So putting shit on paper is real fucking easy. It's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable, but it's real easy, you know, because I already lived it. I already survived it. I'm still alive. I'm still clean. So I sponsor people. I have a sponsor who has a sponsor. We work steps over the phone. There's no one in my life, including my partner, my mother, my grandmother, that has shown me unconditional love like my sponsor in Narcotics Anonymous. Like, I honestly feel that this woman was placed in my life for a fucking reason, right? Which was to guide me in my recovery this far. My sponsor told me to call her every single day for the first 90 days. I called her every single day for the first 5 years. Pineapple, how much time do I have left?
3 minutes.
Perfect, bitch, because I'm tired. So, I love you. So, you know, I called her every single day for the first fucking 5 years, you know, and this woman has answered the phone. You know, now it's not a selfish relationship where I call her and I just dump on her, right? Because that's what we do when we're new in Narcotics Anonymous. Like, we call our fucking sponsors and we just rant. You know, now I call her and I ask her, how are you doing? Like, what's going on in your life? You know, because I got a rude awakening from her and I learned a lot. She went into the hospital once and I'm like, Linda, why didn't you tell me you went into the hospital? And she's like, baby, you didn't ask. And I was like, ouch. You know, like, it hurt, you know, like, because here I am calling this woman every single fucking day, telling her about my life, ranting and raving, and not once do I ask, how are you? You know, so today I got to step out of myself. I don't have a lot of chaos and commotion going on in my life. Like,